Next up, let's talk about one of my favorite data visualization techniques called conditional formatting. So imagine you have a basic unformatted table or matrix, just like the one we created for our executive summary tab. Well, conditional formatting allows you to dynamically format these table or matrix visuals based on their underlying cell values. As we'll see in a second, you can find these options in the Format pane under Cell Elements, and you can do all sorts of things like background colors, font colors, data bars, icons, or even web URLs. And the reason I love conditional formatting is that it really brings these values to life. For instance, we could add data bars to that orders column, which really draws attention to these patterns and these relative differences between rows. We could add icons to the revenue column, or background colors to our return rate column, and so on and so forth. So let's jump into Power BI and practice applying some of these conditional formatting techniques to the matrix visual that we just created. Okay, so we're here in our Executive Dashboard tab. This is the matrix we just created. Go ahead and select that visual, open the Format pane, and scroll down to Cell Elements. This is where we'll find all of those conditional formatting rules. And check it out, we can apply different rules to each numerical field in our visual: orders, revenue, or return rate. Now my approach here will be to kind of keep it subtle. I definitely want to use conditional formatting to draw attention to some of the patterns and trends in this visual, but I don't want it to be too loud or in your face. So I think for now I'm going to stick with just a format to the orders column and the return rate column. And I don't want to add these bright icons or font colors. I'm just going to stick with data bars and background color. So starting with orders, let's activate data bars here. And it's going to drop in these bright blue default bars, which isn't really in line with the rest of our styling. So let's click this FX icon to customize. And we don't really have any negative bars here, right? We don't have negative orders. We can leave it as is. I'll just make it white in case something happens to pop in there. We do have positive bars, and let's make it kind of a subtle shade of gray. Now, if you only cared about the bars, right? If you only cared about the differences between values, you could actually obscure the value itself and just show these bars. In this case, we do want to show the actual order quantities as well, so we'll leave that box unchecked. Left to right looks good. Let's press OK and see how that looks. So I like that much more. Certainly still visible. You can see the relative differences, but it doesn't really detract from the values themselves, which I like. Next up, let's toggle over to our return rate column. And here we're going to activate a background color conditional format. And again, click FX to customize. And I want to take a similar approach that we took with our KPI cards showing monthly revenue, which is that I don't really want to do this crazy green, yellow, red format. I want to keep it a bit more subtle and really only draw attention to concerning trends, right? Or values that someone really needs to pay attention to. So because we're looking at return rates, that means high values or maximum values should be bad. So let's go ahead and apply a still pretty subtle but noticeable red here. And the lowest value, this is good. Again, we don't want to use red and green. We want to be a little bit more colorblind friendly, a little bit more subtle. So let's just do a simple white to red shade. We'll apply a gradient to the values, press OK, and there we go. That looks pretty good to me. As you scroll through, you can start to see some of these return rates really pop against the others, like women's mountain shorts, for instance, with a return rate of 5%. And I think that's subtle enough, but clear enough to provide a little bit more value to this basic matrix visual. So that looks good. Let's go ahead and collapse this menu, hide our format pane, and we are good to go.